Hey, Renee. Glad you're watching. Hey, Tamika.
Where's Mika?
She in the back chilling. Mm-hmm.
Ain't no chilling on Wednesday evenings, Mika.
She is in the back
I'm
chilling.
fresh back from down south with a whole lot
Oh,
of
she
milk.
eating. She eating. She said she'll be here in a minute. You know, I've been cooking that soup. I made some more soup.
Yes, 'tis the season.
Yes, I made some more soup and I made some cornbread too. Girl, I ate that soup and cornbread. I wanted to slap myself. Okay, let me tell you.
Yes.
I wanted to slap myself. That soup was so
Yes.
good. Yes, 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 yes.
You
Yes.
put a
Hey,
lot of
Dave. Hey,
garlic in
Renee.
it.
All the way in North Carolina. What'd you say now?
You put a lot of garlic in it.
Yes, I did. So I boiled the chicken with a whole bunch of garlic first, with
Mm-hmm.
garlic, celery, and onions.
Yes.
And I boiled it for about an hour. And and then I put the vegetables in it. I put some cut up carrots in there, some
Yes.
more celery, and just a little seasoning, a little rosemary.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I don't, you know what? I don't even think that people know all the benefits of rosemary.
Rosemary has a lot of cleansing benefits, a whole lot. Speaking of which, let me look it up so I could tell you guys now what the benefits of rosemary are, what some of them are.
All right. So Robin said she's standing in the need of prayer. She had a total knee replacement surgery on December
Mm,
7th, and
mm.
she's currently in recovery. Okay, Robin, definitely. Uh we will be doing that. Let me put your name down. No, got your name down. Yeah, that knee
Also,
recovery is important.
in addition to prayer, Robin, you should get yourself some sea moss.
Mm.
Because sea moss is like really beneficial to the replenishing and the building of our bones. It's full of magnesium, which we need to restore our bones. So if you can get sea moss in your system daily to help with the healing process. Hmm.
Did you hear that, Robin? Hello, Jeffrey.
So the benefits of rosemary. Rosemary is an immune system builder, especially for this time with our so-called second wave of COVID. It's good for improved circulation, liver detoxification. It's anti-aging, freshens the breath. It promotes hair growth. It's antibacterial. It helps your digestive system. It prevents cancer. It has diuretic properties, which means that it helps with your flow and your digestion. It improves your memory. It's used as a pain relief. It's an anti-inflammatory, and it's also good for respiratory health.
Yes, you can also you could also brew rosemary as a tea as well. Yes.
Hmm.
Only caution with rosemary is to look at if there is sometimes rosemary can interact with some medicines. I think.
Hmm.
Hmm. Yeah, but Robin, you can get the sea moss. You can get it in pill form.
Yes.
You can get it in pill form, probably from a health foods store
Like
or a
Whole Foods is really good for having a lot of alternative supplements, but also in this day and age, Amazon is also good. So
yeah.
you order it on Amazon, the
Hmm.
capsulated sea moss, and try to take that daily because it really does help to boost our health and to help to rebuild our bones quickly. Like my son is a football player, and I make sure that he ingest sea moss as often as possible because of how many hits and damage you can take to the bones when you're playing football. So, mhm.
That's good. That's good. Um, who said something? Let me see. Okay, Renee said she's been doing a lot of healthy cooking herself since she relocated to North Carolina. That's good.
Mhm.
That's good, Renee. That's really good. Yeah. So yeah, I put that. I put a little rosemary in it, and a little. I put rosemary in it. Um, what else was that?
I know I told you, I don't know if you put ginger. Ginger is also good in
And
soup.
you know what? That's the one thing I forgot. I was just like, am I supposed to put ginger in this? And I got
Hmm.
the ginger root right on my count, and I was just like,
It's not too late. When you heat it up, you could just slice you a piece and pop it in there.
oh, okay, oh, okay, because
Hmm.
I'm gonna go eat me some tonight with me some pork.
Hmm.
Uh,
Also, allspice is another really powerful. And the allspice comes like there's the powdered allspice, and then there are the little allspice beads that can go in the soup as well. It gives a really
oh,
good flavor to the soup and to meats, but it also has so many benefits as well.
okay, Jeffrey, I have you down. For you said you needed some prayer. Do you have a particular prayer request so I can write it down and make sure that you get put on our prayer list? Um, allspice. I didn't know that because I thought about it. I was just like, I can put allspice like in my when I make the well-being tea, which I still need some of. But I'm just saying. Um, but I did because I have the little beads. So I
Yes.
could have put the allspice in the soup. So at what point would I put the allspice in it if I have the beads?
You can put it in there at any time. You can put it in there in the beginning when you first start brewing, like when you're boiling out the chicken and the garlic. You can drop the
Okay.
allspice in there that
Oh,
time,
okay.
and then you can also put it in later as well.
Okay. Uh, so let me see. Let me make my notes for my chicken soup stuff. I can add allspice. Let's see. I can add, you said ginger
Garlic.
and rosemary. Yeah, so that's what I did. So I definitely put the ginger, not the ginger. I forgot about the ginger, but I definitely put a lot of garlic in it. So I just boiled. I did 4 bottles of water, and then I put a whole chicken in there, and that and let it just cook off the bone, and
Mhm,
put the garlic in there. I cut up some celery, put that in there, cut up some onions, and let that just boil for like
mhm,
an hour by itself with
mhm,
seasoning, with a little bit of salt and pepper,
mhm.
mhm, and the rosemary.
And the benefits of the allspice is that it's rich in antioxidants. It protects wounds against infection. It's good for your digestive system. It helps with cramps and spasm. It's good for your circulatory system. It relieves headaches, cold, and sinusitis.
That
And it's
allspice?
also sinusitis. So if you have sinus issues, the
Okay.
allspice is good for that. And it also relieves pain, like from the muscles or like bone pain.
Hmm. So can I add like, okay, so like like when I make the loose leaf tea and I use my little strainer thing, when I use this,
Hmm.
can I put a drop? Can I can I put one of those little pieces of allspice in that?
Yeah, you can. So if you
Okay.
have the allspice berries, it can go in there. The
Okay.
thing is that the allspice berries take a longer time to brew and decompose and break down. Whereas if you have the allspice powder, you can just do a shake and then you know that you're getting the full benefits and it's going straight to the blood. So the berries is going to take a longer time. So let's say you're like brewing your well-being tea or like when you're brewing a soup, you want to put your allspice berries in first, like, earlier,
Okay.
because it takes a while for it to boil and for the medicine from the actual berry to immerse itself into the liquid. Whereas if you're dealing with the powder, it's already broken up. You just do a shake and you're getting it into your bloodstream.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you said the beads put them in earlier, and
Hmm.
then okay. All right. That's cool. All right. I didn't know you could use allspice for that because I have it in my cabinet. Don't
Mhm.
ask me why. It
Yep.
must with a recipe or something, and then I needed the allspice, and I put it in. I had it in my cupboard,
Yep.
and so. But I do make sure I do put allspice in the well-being tea when I'm brewing that. I do
Mhm.
that, even though I'm out of well-being. Just saying, you know, need a little bit of well-being, just a little bit. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, but the rosemary tea, I did realize that because I went to where did we go? We went to we went to Hagerstown earlier, a few months ago. Um and I found this store, a crystal store. And so I got me some crystals and stuff in there and got me some sage, but they also had like the dry teas and stuff like that. So I actually got the rosemary. So they were selling, dry rosemary where you can just brew it in a bag. They were selling the dry rosemary. I bought some rosemary and I bought some I can't remember what the name of that tea is. It starts with a P. And I forgot what it says. I got it in my phone. Hold on. So, because I know you've had to heard of it. You've had to hear of it. Let me see. I bought okay. So but they had lemongrass there, but they didn't have any more of that. So I didn't get any of that. And I saw that lemongrass is good for to relieve anxiety, pain. It's a good source of vitamin A and C, and it's good for your hair and your skin.
Mhm.
And then they had Moroccan rosebuds,
Mm.
which is good for your mood, soothe skin irritations, reduce redness, and relieves headaches.
Mm.
So I didn't even get them all, but I just took a picture of them. Um, and then they had French lavender, which French lavender helps improve your sleep. It promotes hair growth. It stabilizes your mood. It soothes nerves, and it kills bacteria. And then the rosemary, which we already talked about. Um, they said rosemary can also help lower your blood sugar.
Mm.
Hmm. And it can enhance your memory and concentration. Okay, so the one I'm talking about is called I cannot pronounce it. It's Patchoul.
Patchouli. Is it
Patchouli.
patchouli?
Yeah.
Mm.
And so it's an antifungal tea. It's antifungal, antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, and helps with pain relief.
Mhm.
So I haven't tried it yet though, but I have it.
Mhm.
I
It's
just
a
got a little
strong
bit of it. Yeah.
because they also have patchouli as an essential oil.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Oh.
And it's really calming, like kind of like it has similar properties to allspice.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
So you could, if you buy the oil, you can burn it or cook with it, or
If you buy the essential oils are mostly going to be for like aromatherapy. So
okay,
to smell it, to maybe put it on your body, like on your pulse, on your neck. So as it pulsates, you're smelling it, and then that will help you to like decompress. And usually it's like a calming thing.
oh, oh,
Or you can put it like in your diffuser as well.
okay,
Mhm.
okay. Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, because I had looked it up and I was just like, I have the tea, but I didn't know you can buy it in oil. I might have to look for the
Yeah.
oil.
Hmm.
Yeah, because I have an oil called De-Stress.
Right.
So it
So
probably has
you
that oil.
remember before the Christmas holiday, we were talking about whew, the holiday blues, right?
Yeah, uh-huh. Yeah.
And I had all
What
this
else?
to say about, I promise you, I feel like I talked too much during that session and I had too much to say. So then the holiday blues were like smacking me all over the place. I was just like, hmm,
Really?
hmm.
Hmm.
And I definitely believe that it had a lot to do with like consumption because if like I'm a sensitive person and so I'm going to pick up the vibrations of everyone that's around me. And the holidays is about us sharing our space, which is really sacred, with other people. That's
Yeah.
number one. And I feel like we all have like our rhythm, right? When you're home, you have your rhythm. When you get up in the morning, you drink whatever type of tea you drink. If you drink coffee, then you do that. At lunch, you do your lunch. At what time you usually do your lunch. There's that rhythm. But
Mhm.
when you're elsewhere, there you go with the tea. When when you are somewhere else in other people's space, like you literally, I'm the type of person I pick up on every single thing. And so even if like I was with my friend, like my cousin, we lived together before, but at home we follow like a pescatarian diet. So we may eat fish, but mostly we try to consume vegetables. And I think that's tied into the fact of like, if I can feel vibrations, then I know I can feel the vibrations of the animals that have been slaughtered for me to consume. Right.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
then, I'm also Jamaican. So here comes the holidays and I'm eating oxtails and I'm fish and I'm just like chicken. And I'm like, why am I feeling like this? Like, what's
Uh-huh.
going on with me? Like, everything just seemed so much, so heavy.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, so now being back home, like as soon as I got back home, I was like, all right, back to my vegetables, back to my bitters, back to my intermittent fasting, not breaking my fast till after 12 o'clock in the day. And so there is that look at the fact that I think the holiday, it pulls us from our natural rhythm. Because one, we have to be around a lot of people, or it's expected that we're going to be around a lot of people. And
Mhm.
we're consuming these things that might not be the best in terms of health. And I literally think like they just come back to back to back to back. And so
Mhm.
here you are for Thanksgiving, and then there's the turkey, the macaroni and cheese, the candied yams, and then boom, you knocked out with Christmas. It's the same food, but then the gifts also. And
Mhm.
then New Year's, oh, and don't forget the sweet potato pies and the cakes and everything that's added to the palate with that.
Mhm.
Um, then come the New Year's, and there's that overindulgence, and then everybody now is set up to set their New Year's resolution of new me, I need to drop this much weight. I need to do this. I'm going to really take care of myself. And it's, I don't want to sound like a Scrooge, but it does come to the point where it's like, how do I create my own balance
Mm.
and still be festive? Like, I don't want to be the Scrooge,
Mhm.
but I also don't want to get off my path so far that it's like I can't even feel my own self and my own vibrations and have to try to trud my way back, because as I age, it's not that easy to just get back on the wheel.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, and the health effects, the feeling in my body, it's more intense as I age.
Mhm.
So when I go off of, my dietary needs, my personal dietary needs, getting back on is a lot harder. And so, I'm back on that holiday blues again, saying that I think it does have to do with the consumption of what we
Mhm.
consume. But not just what we consume in our mouths, but also what we consume in our spirits.
Yep.
You
Mhm.
know, those people that we're around, the vibrations that they share and how they interact with life, and then how we perceive that and how it affects us. So
Mm-hmm.
just to be cognizant of, those people who are still like, out in the trenches, working, interacting with people, a part of the Secret Santa, all of that stuff, going to the holiday parties, to just be cognizant of your own vibrations and your own personal needs, and
Mm-hmm.
to still hold true to that for as much as you can. And
Mm-hmm.
also, a couple of my clients have reached out about just feeling as if they've fallen off the wagon, off their personal health wagon. And like I said, as you age, the effects on the body is different. And so I have a client who, after years, when I first started working with her, she never prepped any of her own meals. Like, she would eat out all the time. And so, I let her know that that may be affecting her health, because you don't know what people put in your food when they prepare it. The amount of sodium they're using, the products that they're using, or even the vibrations that are going into the food, because that's a sacred practice. Are they angry when they're cooking your food? Are they upset? Do they want to be at work? And so she started to cook for herself consistently, and she'll do meal preps and check in by sending pictures of her meal preps. And she texted me about like how much her body was hurting, how many headaches she was getting, having the shakes. And it was all about the food that was being consumed over the holidays. So having to tell her to, one, forgive herself, two, to inhale and to be cognizant of where she was today, vibrationally. And then three, to exhale in order to release anything that wasn't in alignment to where she wanted to be. And then also to just know that that's why we have a new day. We get new days so we can start again. And guilt is one of those feelings that it does nothing for us. It's counterproductive. Feeling guilty helps nothing. If anything, it makes you harder on yourself. It makes you feel empty. It makes you want to consume more. So let go of the guilt and understand that we're humans, and, get back on the wagon. And so just, that's basically what I would have to say about overcoming if you feel like you've gotten off the wagon throughout the holidays, and even how to maintain that balance as we still have Christmas coming up and New Year's also.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's sorry, I got thrown off. I had because I was reading Robin's comment that she had, because she was talking generally that she was sharing that she generally loves the holidays, but it's been extremely hard this year because she's lost a lot of relatives. And that was something that we did talk about last week, was about, um and that we have talked about with the holiday blues. I've been doing talks about the holiday blues in on different platforms the last couple of weeks, to prepare people for the holidays, because outside of people who maybe normally feel um, sad or depressed during this time, then we have COVID that puts an extra layer on things like that. And just like when you were just talking about realizing those things, like the vibrations from the different even from the food that you eat, and then the energy that you have around you, and those type of things. And just remembering um, that uh, it's okay if you fall off the wagon. It's like, we have to stop beating ourselves up so much. You know what I'm saying? Because when you beat yourself up a lot, you put more stress on yourself when you're beating yourself up. You know what I'm saying? And so in doing that, you're not getting healthier. You're kind of making yourself more, you know, just, like I said, more stressed, what I'm saying, and more overwhelmed, because we have a perception of ourselves, that we base our perception of ourselves on society. and what the world says, oh, you must be like this, you must look like this, you must feel like this, and if you're like this, then you're okay and you're fine. You know what I'm saying? So then we beat ourselves up when we let the expectations of the world
Mhm.
um get into our minds and our spirits and our hearts. So then we're always competing with the Joneses, you know what I'm saying, and with the Smiths and with the Taylors, you know what I'm saying, and you know what I'm saying, we're always competing with those people because the perception of the world and society and TV and radio and social media, you know what I'm saying, people are always going to put out their perfectness. You know what I'm saying? They're always going to put out their mask. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to tell you what's under that mask. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to tell you what they're covering up with the mask. All you see is a mask. And in that mask, with that mask, you see a perfect life. You see happiness. You see just enjoyment and fulfillment. And really behind that mask is hurt, it's pain, it's depression, it's anxiety, it's that imperfectness that they're trying to hide with the mask. So, you can't um, let, um, don't be hard on yourself. You know, we've all fallen off track, especially with COVID. I mean, for real. I mean, we fall off track and we get back on track, and then you fall off and then you get back on again. But at least you when you the good thing is that you do get yourself to a point where you realize that you have, but then you get yourself put back on track. But let me help you guys with something. So when you get yourself put back on track, then you need to look at where is your expectation, or that expectation, where is the root of it and where is it coming from? Because if that level of expectation that you're putting on yourself is based on a false sense of reality, because you're basing who you should be and who you are on what the world says you should be doing, then you're always going to be at that in that circle of um doing well, falling off, doing well, falling off, doing well, falling off, because you're still trying to meet that expectation that you put on yourself. But when you take a step back and be like, you know what, I'm through, I'm done with this. You know what I'm saying? I'm done trying to be like everybody else wants me to be, you know what I'm saying? And putting myself through this and putting myself through that, and just be who you are and who you were created to be. You know what I'm saying? God did not create you to be like everybody else. He created you to be Marlon Brown. He created me to be Beverly Sanders. You know what I'm saying? He created Robin to be Robin. You know, say Latrice to be Latrice, and Renee to be Renee, and Tamika to be Renee Tamika. He didn't create Beverly to be like Marlon. You know what I'm saying? He didn't create Marlon to be like Latrice, or Robin to be like Renee. You know what I'm saying? He created us to be who we are and who he created us to be. So we have to walk in that instead of trying to walk in what the world thinks that how we should be.
And so last night I sat with the kids in the living room, and I asked them, like, what was the lesson that, some lessons that they got from 2020. And, our children are really, they're perceiving what they perceive, how they do it. And they're literally a part of all of the things that we're going through. In this pandemic, they're dealing as well. My son didn't get to have his football year, his senior year of football, which is really important. My daughter both of them being on virtual learning, it's been a lot. And so when I asked them, what were some of the lessons, and my son said, don't get attached to the person, get attached to the lesson. Because everyone comes in our lives to teach us something. And if you're attached to the person, you will miss out on your lesson. And I was just like, you know, this world is changing, but the healing that I get from spending time with them and watching how they're growing and vibrating with them, like literally, my son had me listen to Mozart last night. He was like, "Have you ever sat down and just listened to Mozart?" And I was like, "No." He was like, "Listen." And I promise you, I've never felt a peace as much as I felt that music last night. And so in the midst of everything that's going on and, you know, how we're dealing with lives, our own lives, I'm learning to just sit in where I am and be where I am and be in gratitude. Because it's really easy for me to want to leave where I am to get to where I want to be type thing. Because, you know, being raised, it's like, this is never enough. You're supposed to be climbing to get to the next level and the next level and the next level and the next level. But there's also a peace in sitting with where I am because I've worked to get here. And if I don't sit with the peace and the balance of where I am and be in full gratitude for the paint on the walls, the paintings on the walls, the fact that I have a 10-year-old daughter and a 17-year-old son, and they're both well-rounded, and I love spending time with them. These are all things that I've worked daily to get to this point. And so if I'm in that constant rush to get to my next point, I'm not enjoying, you know, where I am right now. And I realized that that was one of the things for me, always working and pressing to get to the next point, but never sitting back and just enjoying the work that I've already done. And so I am grateful to, you know, this time that we have. I know there's been a lot of loss from this pandemic, and there's been a lot of hurt and a lot of things going on, but then there's also a lot of healing that's taken place. There's a lot of grounding that's taking place, a lot of reflecting, and also a sense of gratitude. Because for those who haven't been treating life as if it's fragile, we've gotten numerous lessons on how fragile life is and how those people that we have in our lives that we truly love, that we should cherish them and acknowledge the importance of their presence while they're still here, because we can wake up tomorrow and everything will be different. So
that's true. I think
Naya,
I think that
Naya, come in.
Just going along to the lines of, you know, what you just said, what we were, you know, and just like, you know, how the conversation is going. And when people talk about you know, where we are and what we're going through right now, it's like people have so much to say, so much negativity to say about this time, you know what I'm saying? And it's like you know, people are in a rush for 2020 to be over, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, 2020 has brought so much pain and heartache to the nation, but it's also brought a lot of blessings, you know, and it has brought so many things. And so, because, like I said earlier, because the world um, programs your mind to, what's the thought I'm trying to say? It's like to convince you that this is how you should feel because of COVID. You know what I'm saying?
The media.
Yeah, exactly. And not seeing and not still seeing the blessing in it. You know what I'm saying? The blessing that, that parents have been able to get to know their kids. You know what I'm saying? And maybe, there were couples that were able to fix their relationships. You know what I'm saying? Families got closer, what I'm saying, even though they couldn't see each other. Like we've always gone months and years and weeks without talking to family members and things like that. But since COVID happened and everybody's going through the same thing, now people are talking to their family more. You know what I'm saying? They are communicating more with family that's not around them on a regular basis. You know what I'm saying? They're utilizing media to be connected to your families, where you could do like virtual Thanksgiving or just virtual weekly check-ins with your families, and things like that that you would not have normally done if COVID was not here. you know um my college friends, we all I have some friends from college. We all were on the same hall when we our freshman year, when we all got connected. And we've been friends for over 20 years. And so when COVID happened, we started doing a happy hour every other week, and we still do it. We've been doing it probably since April, I think. And every other week, every other Friday, we get on and we just talk and we just share, and we just talk and we just have a good time. We reminisce of college days or whatever. But we have been trying to do it for years before COVID. We've been trying to get together, like everybody meet somewhere and we just all travel to a spot and just have a nice vacation time. But we have yet to do it. But then when COVID hit, somebody say, hey, let's do a Zoom happy hour. And so we do that, and we look forward to it every other Friday. We are on Zoom and we're on there all night, and we just talk, we just have fun, saying, we have great conversations and things like that. So, while COVID has brought a lot of pain and hurt to a lot of people and to a nation, it's also brought a lot of blessings,
A lot of
and a lot of opportunity as well.
Yeah, because you made mention to the fact that people didn't know their children, like they got to know their children. But not only did we get to know our children, we also got to know ourselves.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Because if you're not sitting with your children 9 out of 10 times, it means you're not sitting with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just grateful for the opportunity to get to know myself.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
In all the layers.
Mm-hmm.
And earlier I mentioned that the only way out is through. Some things we have to sit with, and we have to look at it and go through it, not try to dodge from it or hide from it, but literally go through it. That means if there's depression, anxiety, pain, to sit with it, not to run away from it, not to run to any substance, not to run to any number, but to sit with it. Mm-hmm. And if that sitting with it looks like crying all day, or having to isolate, or needing to write, or needing to dance, going for a walk, whatever it is, mm-hmm. The only way out is through. And so just grateful for this opportunity to have time to be with self, mm-hmm. and to be with family.
Yeah.
Because our workday, if our workday is a 9-hour workday or 8-hour workday or 7, then literally at least 12 hours is going towards that, because you're waking up, you're getting dressed, you're commuting, mm-hmm. you're coming back, you're, commuting to get back, getting back in the house. And when you get back home, all you have time to do is prepare dinner. If you have children, help with homework, check in with them about their day, and then you're back at it again.
Yeah.
The weekend is a facade, because literally 2 days is not enough, especially if you have a spiritual practice on Sundays. Mm-hmm. So that's really one day.
Yeah.
to get yourself together.
Mhm.
And that's cleaning the home, doing laundry, hopefully doing meal prep, so that you'll have a healthy week. And so when we look at it, the schedule and the pressure that the normal American society has, it's not natural and it's not balanced. And that's why we see that a lot of people, there's so many stories of people who work for years and they retire, and then within a year of retirement, they pass away.
Mhm.
There are numerous stories like that.
Yes.
And so we have to ask ourselves, when we train our spirits to do something for 20, 30, 40, sometimes 50 years,
Mhm.
how many of us are literally having those vibrational conversations with ourselves? Because if you've been getting up at 5 o'clock every morning to get up out your house, the fact that you had this retirement party does not connect with everything inside of you that you're not going to be doing that anymore.
Mhm.
And what happens when that fear kicks in, or when your role at work was the role that you identified with for so long?
Mhm.
What happens to all of that? We never really delved into those type of conversations.
Mm-mm.
That we literally have to have those conversations with ourselves. What if your job was your mean of success? Like, that's what made you successful because that's the job that you had. And now you don't have that job anymore.
Yeah.
And so, there are a lot of things that we have to look at as a society and as people in terms of creating that balance within ourselves, so
Mhm.
that when certain life changes come about, that we're able to live, live through it, live
I was
past
gonna
it.
say that. Mhm. Yeah, and to yeah, to be able to live through it because it's just like what you said earlier, the only way out is to go through, what I'm saying. And so I really hope people catch that, because you know a lot of us don't learn to go through it, what I'm saying. We learn we learn to do other things to kind of like um fight our way out, what I'm saying. So then you fight your way out through um to things that you self-medicate yourself with, what I'm saying. So you try to fight your way out with alcohol, you try to fight it out with smoking, you try to fight it out with eating, what I'm saying. You try to fight it out with other things that may give you pleasure, and and not realizing that you still have to go through it, what I'm saying. That's the only way that you're going to get out of it, because you have to go through it. And just like Marlon said earlier, saying, how you go through it is key. That's the key thing, what I'm saying. Being able to sit with yourself and realize that, okay, I have to deal with this, and then how am I going to deal with that? And so if that way out is through, then use the people around you that God has placed in your life to help you go through that. What I'm saying. We have people around us that God has put in our path. We don't utilize them. What I've been doing with the holiday blues is something that I used to do with kids when I was teaching, and I would have them. I told everybody to like make some circles, make 5 circles, and you're in the center. And then you put the 4 people that's closest to you in those circles, and then you write why those people are closest to you. So when you're like on your way to finding your way out of things and situations and problems and things that you're dealing with, then you tag on those people that you need help going through. you know Tag on that friend or that loved one that's your prayer warrior that you always call when you need somebody to pray with you, saying, or to pray for you, or when you need somebody to tell you the truth sometimes. What I'm saying? When you need somebody to get on you because you know what you're doing ain't wrong and they need to set you straight. We have people like that in our lives, So, tag on those people that's close to you that you trust and that you can rely on and that you can lean on and that can give you that accountability when you're trying to work your way through. You know, Yes, the only way out is to go through, but you don't have to go through by yourself. Some part of it is some things that you have to do by yourself because there are things that you have to deal with alone and on your own, but through prayer and meditation and with God, you're still not really alone. You know what I'm saying? You may not have physically people around you or that you can talk to, but you always have God.
Hmm.
Always. So, but that I really hope people get that, that the only way out is to go through it. Sometimes you just got to deal with it, go through it, because you'll find if you continue to suppress it, say if you continue to ignore it, then it's going to continue to weigh on you. And the heavier it gets, the harder it gets. And then it starts to come out in your work. It starts to come out in your relationships. You know what I'm saying? It just starts to come out in your daily life and what you're doing, and you're not taking care of your mind, body, and spirit if you're letting those things weigh you down. Go through in it. Going through it could be as simple as just writing it out,
Hmm.
releasing it. Finding ways to release it, finding ways to go through it in a healthy way, finding ways to deal with it.
And one of the conversations that I was having with Emmanuel, he said, we have to be careful in this life because you will get hurt on your path,
Mm-hmm.
but we have to be careful not to bleed on the people who didn't cut us.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
You know, um,
He's so wise. We're gonna have to have him on in starting in the new year.
I from our conversations lately, I'm really seeing that we need to get him to have forums with young Black men
Yeah.
because
Young.
he has this way of he has this peaceful vibration, but he understands the elements of pain and he understands the layers of the pain that our Black boys go through and how they hold it. And then also how the suppression of it comes out.
Mm.
The other day as we were talking, he was like, you get tired of going into the grocery store, going into a space and you have to stare at another king to stare him down, to look for that weakness in his eye. It's that look. He was
Mm.
like, as a Black man, he was like, Ma, all we looking for is really some kindness. That's
Mm.
it. Just kindness. Just from a woman to say, how you doing today, baby? You had a good day? Just some kindness. The kindness of like a Southern grandmother kind of kindness. The kindness that our young men should have, because it takes a village to raise a child. But everyone is so busy that our boys, our girls, our children, they're left vulnerable. Um,
Mm.
and they're left with this to keep their company.
Yeah.
And so, um, yeah, after our conversation the other day, I was just like, yeah, I need to find a way to get him to heal some Black men
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
through conversation,
My
to
mind
break
is
some ropes.
going. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I already got a thought in my mind, a vision already. Mm-hmm. Yep. 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 Yeah. I sure do. Be on the lookout. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But that's that. Yeah.
Now you're stirring.
I'm stirring. That yeah, because I'm yeah. I'm like I need to really um. It's like it's so hard sometimes when you're working from home, you
Hmm.
know, and so I'm like I really literally need to take some leave, take a few days before the end of the year and just really map out some things that that God's putting on my heart for 2021. You know what I'm saying? To jump right out the park, in January or February and get it going for the year. So I'm like, I'm so busy, even though I'm working from home.
Oh, that's when you're really busy. It's because you're working from home.
Yeah. So I'm just like, I gotta stop and find some time to carve out where I can just focus on the the things that God is dropping in my spirit uh, to do, to help people, to help young people, to help people thrive, to help people break their silence, to help people, say, as well as myself, live a more happier and balanced life. Because I mean, in all that we do, and even though we talk and we preach to people, that the person um that first is the audience of one is so through the work that he needs to do within you, it transcends to the people around you, and then the people who are in your path to do that work in themselves as well. Sometimes people go on a journey and they go by themselves, and then once they have completed their journey and gotten to a certain point, then they come back and reach back and get people and try to and teach them how to go through the journey that they went through. But sometimes it's beneficial to take the people along with you in the journey, so that you learn from one another, you encourage one another, and you keep each other accountable during that journey. So I need to take some days, and I encourage you guys to do that as well. Take some time between now and the end of the year to sit and map out um your goals for 2021, and not necessarily just for 2021. Saying, just map out your goals, that things that you really want to do. When I spoke on Saturday at our women's thing, our women's, fellowship, I asked everyone 4 questions, and they were, what is one thing that you've always wanted to do with your life? And the second question was, what is it that you keep attempting to do but never follow through with it? The third question was, what would make my life more fulfilling, interesting, and or purposeful? And the last question was, what is something simple that I can pursue to get me in the habit of taking actions?
Who made those questions? You created those, or it came up from Saturday's? I'm gonna need those to be texted or emailed to me, please.
Okay. I will email them to you. I have this journal called the Pursuit Goal Journal. And that's where I got those questions from. It's called Pursuit Brainstorming. So I was just like, it's a lot of little things in that here. And so I just purchased my Christian planner again this year for 2021. And so my other one is all written up and everything like that. So I got a new one. And what I like about this one is it allows you to put in your weekly reflections, your weekly like it gives you a space to write sermon notes, to write your reflection for the week, as well as your preparation for the next week. So I like that, and it has a daily habits tracker at the bottom. It has like for the monthly calendar part, it has your list of the goals that you want to accomplish that month. And then at the top, they have your 3 top that you want to do for that month. I love it because they have these, you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So it has like the different scriptures that you can like color and stuff like that. So I love art and being artsy and stuff like that. So I love that, and it has like a finance tracker in it, to help you do just a lot of different things. And so in the front of it, it has your vision board that you can make your vision board and the bucket list that you can do.
Mm.
So I purchased that so I need to, I need to sit down and, prepare this for the new year. And then I also purchased from the same place a book, another journal called Faith and Focus.
Mm.
Yeah, see that. And so the Faith and Focus is kind of helps you do like um set goals and stuff for yourself. So like on the first page asks you to think about your 3-year vision. What does it look like for you? So and then the goals for the year, like the things that we said. So sometimes I think a lot of us don't do that kind of stuff. We don't set goals for ourselves. We don't look at things that we do want to accomplish, you know, like I was reading somewhere when, I was just like reading on goal setting and things like that. And so a lot of us say like at the beginning of your year, your goal is to lose weight, you know, when, the goal really should be to be healthy. And so to be healthy, that could be losing weight, eating better, exercising more, those type of things. That's because you're losing weight because you want to be healthier, first of all, you know.
Mhm.
So, just thinking about, like personal goals. So this Faith and Focus planner, it was kind of created to help people um accomplish your most important personal and spiritual and professional goals. So I'm going to use this. So instead of me picking up my phone in the mornings, um, before I get out of bed, this is going to be sitting right on my desk that I'm getting prepared for me to pick it up and look at what are my goals for the day. Saying what are my goals for the week. So I can start, working on that, and then you're able to write down your milestones, write down your habits, because when you start writing stuff down, you start seeing your own patterns, you start seeing your own, you start noticing where the change needs to come and where you're most effective and where you're not. So,
I think also, a lot of times people say that they want to lose weight, right?
mhm,
In the beginning of the year. That's symbolic. Because weight isn't just physical.
mhm,
So what is the emotional weight that you want to lose? What's the spiritual weight that you want to lose? What's the vibrational weight that you're trying to lose?
mhm.
Usually when those weights are lifted, the physical weight just comes off.
That's true.
And so we
That's so
have to
powerful.
tap into that.
Mhm,
Um, there's sometimes, you know, especially towards the end of the year, a lot of people are going to see at this time feel like they literally want to crawl out their skin. You're
mhm,
looking at the decisions that you've made, your habits. Things are feeling like they need to change as if it just doesn't fit anymore. Who are those low vibrational people that you surround yourself with? That they're literally charging themselves up off of you, but you can't get a charge from them. And there
mhm,
is that balance. Maybe you need to lose that. Um, in this pandemic that we're in now, we're not able to go into a spiritual space, a physical church, and to share the vibrations of others who also believe in the same spiritual leader that we do. So,
mhm.
what are your spiritual practices? Um, how is your prayer and meditation looking? How are you turning things over to God or whoever you consider to be your higher power? Are you journaling? Are you in gratitude? Are you meditating? And so I think as we close off this year, it's important that we look at those things and that we identify, okay, if you're saying you want to lose weight, what are the emotional, vibrational, and spiritual weights that need to be put in place and
Mhm.
set free so that you can transcend those and the physical weight will be dealt with.
Yeah, that's true. That is really true because when you think about, especially when you think about weight, the physical weight, you know what I'm saying, and how it's tied to your emotions, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, when you eat, when you're angry or upset or sad or lonely and those types of things. So that's like that emotional eating, you know what I'm saying? Or not necessarily eating, you know what I'm saying? Or if you drink, you know, when you're feeling those way, when you're feeling those ways, you know what I'm saying, so a lot of that stuff, it is tied